covered and uncovered, Paula, refers to a concept in margin. So if I'm looking at your account, Paula, and you've sold, let's see, well, let me just get a stock price here. Apple's at $200 a share. So you sell 10 Apple 200 puts. So Paula, you're obligating yourself to buy 1,000 shares of Apple at 200. So as a margin clerk, I want to know how would you plan on making good on that? So if you aren't covered, covered would mean you said, well, Dina, if you look at my account, I have $200,000 in cash. I have cash equal to the aggregate exercise price. If somebody sticks the Apple to me at 200, I've got the 200,000. I go, oh, my bad, Paul. I'm sorry for even bothering you as a margin clerk. You say, Dean, I'm short the stock. So, I originally sold short the Apple. And so there's a credit balance in my account, if you look there, from selling the short stock. Remember, I had to, Dean, put up 100% plus the 50% margin. And so if somebody sticks it to me and I'm short the stock, I'm going to use it to cover my short stock position. In the meantime, Dean, there's the cash from the short sale, so no worries. I go, oh, Paula, okay, my bad. And again, uncovered means you don't have an explanation about how you're going to pay for the stock. So you don't have the 200,000. You're not short the stock. You say, hey, Dean, if you look at my account, I have an obligation to buy Apple at 200, but I also have a choice to sell. It's a spread. I go, oh, okay. So now what Paula's telling me is somebody sticks it to her, she's going to stick it to the next guy. That would be a put spread. And then Paula, I would say to you, Paula, is it a debit put spread? It's a debit put spread. I'm not worried at all as a margin clerk because the debit is your loss and it's already there. If it's a credit spread, Paula, and this would be one reason you might want to do a credit spread, so you don't have to come up with the margin requirement. You say, Dean, it's actually a credit spread. I said, well, that means there's going to be a loss, Paula. Somebody sticks Apple to you at 200 and you stick it to the next guy at 180, that's a 20-point loss. And so what I want in your account is the 20 points, the $20,000 in this case. Part of that $20,000 already there from, selling the spread. All right, so all those situations you were covered. If you don't have an explanation to me about how you are going to perform on the contract, now what I'm going to want from you, Paula, is 20% of the market value. So that's $40,000, 20% of 200,000 shares of Apple. I'm going to want you to leave the premium in the account. So if the premium's 12, you're going to have to leave that 12 points in there, $12,000. So we're at $52,000 now as the margin requirement. So uncovered means you're going to have to come up with some margin. And I'm going to let you subtract the amount it's out of the money. Because if the contract's out of the money, it doesn't look like you're going to have to perform on the contract. So that's what an uncovered put is. An uncovered put is when you're obliging yourself to buy the stock and you don't have the cash to pay for it if you get exercised. Cash equal to the aggregate exercise price. You're not short the stock. It's not a put spread. Then you're going to come up with that. PS is a series 4 or 9. I might say, Paula, why do the naked puts, uncovered puts on Apple? Why don't you take part of the money and buy a lower strike put? Because then that, $52,000 go poof. And then you just got to come up with the difference in the strikes. So I hope that was helpful. It's not a big deal. It drives me nuts, Paula, because this comes up on test prep vendors for 7 and 9 and 4. And I think it's more of a test prep vendor issue than it is actually a real issue. I was a consultant to a broker dealer and I got into it with their margin department. And they would tell people that if they're short the put, they have to short the stock to be covered. And I go, well, you're asking a bull to go to a bear. Those are entirely different strategies. If Paula's short the puts on Apple, she's a bear. Right? I mean, short the puts, she's bullish, right? She's hoping Apple goes up, the puts expire, she keeps the money. Short the stock is bearish. So I was giving the margin clerk a hard time. I go, it means you don't understand what you're asking people. He said, well, I was wondering why they're getting upset. I said, well, Paula's upset because you're telling her that if she wants to sell the puts and she's bullish, that she's going to turn herself into a bear with unlimited risk. And That's why she's kind of ballistic, right? So I hope that was helpful.